You're a small business owner and not a designer, and that's okay. You may not have all the time to sit on Canva and find all the cool new tricks, but that's what I'm here for. In today's episode, we're diving into Canva a little bit deeper and finding tips and tricks that are going to turn you into an expert overnight. Let's get started. Did you know you can actually share and sell templates from Canva? There's a couple rules and copyright things that you need to pay attention to, but you can create anything on Canva, make it a little less custom, maybe take your own logo and stuff off of it, and then actually sell it online on sites like Etsy or Creative Market or even your own website. If you're looking for some extra revenue streams, even just a side hustle, this could be something that you do on the side to help bolster your business or your own income. And it can be for anything. There's people selling templates for literally everything on the internet, whether that's social media content, which is probably going to be the most popular, PDF guides, keyboard shortcuts. There is thousands of things that you can share a template for that are going to garner some attention as long as you're marketing them correctly and putting them in the right space. I personally have a shop as well that's available both on my website, and I do have a shop on Etsy that showcases some of the different templates that I've built in the past. I recently opened it, and it's already doing some great things for me. This is something that if you have a lot of designs from your past, if you are a designer and you have a large library, maybe repurpose some of those as a template and send them out and sell them. If you're not, this could be something that you just do on the side to make a few extra bucks. Tip number 2 is to present and record. Now, when you're building presentations in Canva, one, it's a lot better than PowerPoint. Although PowerPoint has grown a lot over the last few years, and if you know the tips and tricks of that, you're doing pretty well. But with Canva presentations, you can actually walk through a presentation or a document and record that presentation for a later use. So if it's something maybe you're presenting for but you're not actually available for, you can send that to maybe the coordinator of the event and walk through the whole thing for them while not actually being there, which is something really cool. Now, to present and record, I'm going to use this template that's available on Canva to kind of walk you through this. So once you've got a presentation available, you're going to go into the top right-hand corner, you're going to click on Share, and then right under the Copy link, under the Collaboration link section here, there's a Present and Record button. What that's going to do is that's going to allow you to present the entire thing, record yourself walking through the presentation so that you can send this to your colleagues, to your boss, or even to a small group that maybe you've set up a free webinar for. Once you've gone through that whole presentation, you can actually send this recording to them and they can watch it at a later date. Again, you can do this for work, you can do this for school. This is a great option to practice as well for a presentation and just check on your mannerisms, how you're speaking, anything like that. Once you click present and record, you're going to go to recording studio. That's going to open a small studio per se where the recording itself is going to be open and available. You're going to be able to see your notes and you're going to be able to walk through your entire presentation with either you on the screen or you talking over the presentation. Tip number 3 is to edit PDF files. Now, Canva does allow you to upload and edit PDF files as long as they're saved as a PDF. All you do is you open your file folder or your external hard drive file and drag and drop right into Canva. From there, you're going to be able to edit photos, headlines, text, and even the overall look of the PDF to make it your own. Now, I don't recommend to take a PDF that somebody else sent you and make it your own. That's called plagiarism, and that's illegal. So we don't want to do that. However, you can take PDFs maybe that your company put together and that you want to make some small tweaks to. Maybe there was a few small edits that the company wants you to make. This is a great place to do it, a very easy place to do it as well. You can make it custom. You can also make it a Canva template so that your company can use it down the road. Tip number 4 is creating a brand guideline. Now, a brand guideline is something that a brand can use to guide maybe a secondary business or a nonprofit or a partner in using their content. A lot of times this is something that maybe you would send to a marketing company that would help them build social media content, maybe commercials, or something along those lines to help you stay within your brand guidelines. So these guidelines often include your colors, your fonts, any photos and stylistic images that pair well with your brand or that are specifically from your brand. And it also includes your logos and colorways. Those types of things are going to be items that a marketing company that would want to be cognizant of when building out marketing materials, especially for social media, to help you stay consistent with your brand image. That consistency is what builds a brand, right? You showcase your color, your images, your logos. You showcase those things over and over and over, and you start to build recognition with your client base. Think of some of the most notable logos in the world: Amazon, Nike, McDonald's. Those are some of the biggest, most powerful logos because they're very easily recognizable. I guarantee that all three of those brands were something that you recognized when I said it. So I have a sample guideline here on my screen. This is just a template that's available on Canva. If you want to use it, you can use something along these lines to build out your own. But it showcases the primary logo, the textile logo, the tagline, the logo mark, the color palette. Typically, I like having the hex codes on here as well so that somebody can take them. With a template in Canva like this, you're able to pull these colors straight out of the document, but you can also put on the hex code to where if they don't have Canva or they're not able to pull those maybe with a color eyedropper tool, you can showcase exactly what color it is through a hex or an RGB code. Specific fonts are great as well. That allows your company to showcase the brand specific fonts. And then the mood board can be something along the lines of images or photo styles that pair with your brand very well. This is another great example. There's multiple images here with a very simple stylistic setup. The customizable fonts here, and this one actually does have a color palette with the hex code on there that allows maybe a marketing company or a content creator to pull those colors specifically to where they can use them. Tip number 5 is to use text effects. I did a previous video highlighting 11 different text styles that you can use on your social media content, on your flyers, on your marketing materials that will help your text stand out more than just color. You can actually find that video in the caption of this video or in the show notes if you're listening to the audio version of this. Those text effects include options like shadows, echo, a glitch feature, neon background, hollowing out the text, and even adding curvature to your text options as well. So all of those different elements and effects are going to give your text the opportunity to stand out a little bit more in your content. One of the ways that you can stand out on your social is to have images. And when you have multiple images on a screen, you may want to have them stand out from one another or on their own. One way that you can do that is adding an outline. There's 2 different ways that you can actually create an outline, and that's creating a shadow for that image or creating a border for that image. So let's take a look at both. This is a template that's available on Canva with a couple of different slides here for a free guide. So this is a free guide template setup. As you can see, there's 3 different options here, and each option has a shadow behind it. To find shadows to use on images like this, you can go into your elements library and type in frame with shadow. That's going to pull up a couple of different graphics that you're going to be able to use. There's different sizing, there's squares, there's portraits, there's rectangles that you can then use on your content and place it behind your content. Now I'm not going to overlap on what's already here, but I will show you that this simply sits right behind the image itself. What that does is it creates a nice border around the image. You can pair those 2 things together. It looks like these are all overlapping and that this one is maybe floating above the other 2. It's a way to separate these 3 different pieces rather than having them all on top of each other, kind of like that. Creates a little bit of separation and a little bit of depth to your design. The other way to do it is create a border. When you click on an item, the top bar here is going to have a border style. You can add a border weight to that, and it's going to have a similar effect to having a shadow. It's going to be a little bit different, but you can round those corners. You can change the border weight on there. I like something really simple, like anywhere from 2 to 4 is usually a decent amount. But then that's going to create a nice little border. Obviously, we still have the shadow back here, but here's what that does. So you create a more finite line between one item and the next to create some separation again from your pieces. Tip number 7 is to use mockups. Now there's a couple different ways that you can do that. You can create individual pieces like what you see here on my screen with the podcasts, or you can actually create specific mockups using an image or a logo or something along those lines. What you're going to do is you're going to head into apps, search mockup. The first one that pops up, two little diamonds on there, a black and a blue on top of each other. Go ahead and open that, and then you're going to be able to search for a load of different mock-up styles, whether it's a phone case, a computer screen, apparel, frames, packaging, graphics, watches, really anything of that like. You're gonna be able to pull that up. What you do from there is you just select the item that you want to use. So if I want a graphic to pop up, I can resize that. Once I have the image exactly where I want it, what I can do then is go into, say, your uploads folder and drag and drop the item that you want to mock up. Once you drag that in there, it's going to show that specific image, that design on a screen. So this is really good if you're mocking up maybe templates like what I was talking about earlier. You're selling templates. You can take screenshots of the process. You can take screenshots or saved images from those templates that you're selling and actually upload them into a mockup to put that on your listing, on your website, or on your Etsy channel. Tip number 8 is to use QR codes. With most of your content being digital, QR codes do become a little bit more difficult because it takes a higher level of understanding of how to use them from the user standpoint to be able to integrate them. Now, while you can use QR codes on your social media content, I typically don't recommend it because there's things like link in bio, you can put a link in the description, or you can just have a link to your website in your actual bio on your Instagram, your LinkedIn page, whatever profile you're using. You can have links that would function kind of like a QR code. QR codes are popular in many different sectors and different industries and can be really helpful for things like print media especially. I use them a ton on things like postcards, handouts, brochures, posters and flyers, even business cards. What that does is it sends the user or the final viewer of that flyer, poster, business card directly to whatever link you set up initially. So let's say you were a gym and you're printing business cards for your personal trainers. You want that QR code to go to either the profile page of that personal trainer or just the personal training page as a whole to show them the pricing, the structure of the setup, the session style, or maybe it's a link that'll go straight to just your website and then they can browse what amenities you have, the trainers, the membership pricing, things like that. Tip number 9 is to use gradient colors in your content, whether that's for the background, for lines and borders, for text, or even for shapes and elements. I recommend using gradients. This is going to help add depth, add more of a dynamic view to your content, and add some more visually appealing pieces to your content stream. Now, there are some things to avoid here. You don't want to overuse it. You don't want to use colors that don't match. And you really want to be mindful of the direction as well of the gradients. If you're using it in multiple different facets, make sure they all go in the same direction. Now, I did a full video breaking down how to use gradients in Canva, where you can find them, what apps you can use for text, and exactly how to do it. You can find that in the show notes here or on the caption on the YouTube version. Another awesome tool that you can use in Canva is charts and tables. This is something that's really prevalent in something like Excel or PowerPoint, but is now available in Canva for you to use in your presentations, in your social media content, and really anywhere you want. All you have to do to find them is go to the Elements section of your Canva toolbar on the left-hand side, and then you just type in charts. If you go all the way to the right on the little sub menu there, you're going to see an item called charts. And then in here, you're going to be able to find just about any kind of chart that you need. Pie charts, bar charts, scatter plots, really any kind of graph or table that's going to help you portray your data. There's actually some interactive graphs as well. As you click on them, they will interact with you and show you different pieces of your data or your content, which are great for things like presentations, for videos, and give you more of an ability to interact with your audience. All you're gonna do is you're gonna go into charts, select the one that you want, and then once you have it selected, you're actually able to change the percentages, the line weights. If you've got a legitimate chart here, you can update the table You can upload a table, maybe from a CSV file. So if you have a table that's available in Excel, you're going to be able to upload that right into Canva and pull that data right into an interactive chart that you can showcase in Canva. Because you have to manually enter everything in Canva and there isn't the ability to do formulas, if you have anything that's formula oriented, I do recommend to do it in something like Excel or Google Sheets, and then save it as a CSV file and then upload it into Canva. Because then all the data is ready for you. All you got to do is plug and play. My final tip is to actually use folders to keep yourself organized. One of the biggest things that I see a lot of new Canva users struggle with is efficiency and staying organized. Folders and projects are going to help you a ton with that. I am personally maybe an overuser of folders, and I have folders within my folders that are already within other folders. So I maybe go a little bit above and beyond in terms of that level of organization. But any kind of folder use, whether it be for photos and brand assets or, particular design styles, any kind of folder usage for your Canva account is going to help you be more efficient and more effective when you're in Canva creating designs. This can be anything from Canva's brand kit that's available on Canva Pro, or just custom folders that you build out yourself. If you're just getting started in Canva, there's typically 8 folders that I recommend to get started with. That includes your brand assets, which can be your brand kit, again, if you have Canva Pro, social graphics, marketing materials, client projects if you're a designer or if you have projects that are associated with any of your clients, stock images or assets, templates, inspiration. So this could be maybe social content that you screenshotted or templates that you found on Canva that maybe are bringing you some inspiration for something that you want to do in the future, and an archive folder. So any designs that you have worked on in the past that maybe you don't need anymore but want to keep around just in case you need something out of it, throw it in the archive folder. Especially if you have a ton of designs or if you have a large team, things can get really messy really fast. These folders can help your team stay effective when using Canva, because it can be very easy to get overwhelmed, especially when you have a larger team of people. You want to stay as organized as possible to stay effective and to keep everyone moving. All right, there it is. Tips to help you unlock your expertise in Canva, to help you and your team move a little bit faster and get your designs out quicker, meaning that you can pump out both quantity and quality content. Now, since you made it to the end of the video, here is a bonus tip. This is one that I always give anybody that I coach, any of the clients that I work with, and that is simply to practice. It's going to take time to master some of the things in Canva. A lot of the folks that I work with, they watch me do different designs or things like that, and they say, man, you are really fast at this. I'm never going to be that fast. They also forget that I've been doing this for 4 or 5 years, spending multiple hours a day in Canva, and they just started. It's the same thing with athletes, with business professionals. If you spend time doing it, you'll eventually get better at it, and eventually you'll get to a point where a lot of it becomes second nature. Give yourself the freedom to be bad at first, give yourself some practice, and eventually you'll grow into an expert. Thanks for listening to today's episode of the Canva Code. If you enjoyed today's episode and it brought you a little bit of value, please share it with a friend. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the podcast version on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Subscribe to the video version on YouTube. Your reviews actually help me build a better show for you. So if you're looking for something a little bit different, or if you like what I'm doing so far, leave me a review. Let me know what you think. Until next time, don't forget, you Canva do it. Thank you for joining me today on the Canva Code. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button on YouTube, follow me on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, and stay tuned for more insights on how to use design and Canva to thrive. Thank you for listening, and remember, you Canva do it.